Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is the Battle of the Eyeshadow Palettes featuring Viseart. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This video is going to feature all of my Viseart palettes and we're going to have them battle it out to determine which one is the best one. And this is a video series I decided to do in 2024. I used to do it in the past with color stories, and I thought, why not change it up and do it with brands? So any brand where I have more than 8 palettes, or like 5 or more, I think I can do this like kind of video with. And I thought, well, I've got quite a few Viseart palettes, so let's do that one next. So here we go. Before we get into the video, it may be good to know who I am and what I like doing on this channel. My name is Maaike. I live in the Netherlands. I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, and this greatly influences how I feel about makeup. I have been a makeup reviewer for more than a decade. I love trying out eyeshadow palettes, Essence and Catrice, and getting the use out of my makeup. So if that's something you're interested in, I hope you would like to consider subscribing. So yeah, we are going to be having some Viseart palettes, battling it out. And of course, Viseart is one of my favorite formulas on the market. So I've got quite a few of these, and I definitely wanted to sort of come on here to show you which one I think is best. The way this video is going to work is that I'm going to group all of my palettes into little sections, and per section, per grouping, there will be a winner, and then we'll take the winners of each group, pair those together, determine the winner, and we'll keep going until we have one palette left. And in case you were interested in seeing some reviews or swatches with these palettes, I always include swatches and looks when I do reviews. I'll make sure to link those in the description box down below so you can have a more detailed look in case you're interested. I figured that the first section we should talk about is the Petit Pro. So these are the quads that Viseart does. I've got 4 of them. There's a whole line, like they do these from time to time where they'll have loads of colorful options as well. And I've selected just the ones that I like. I can't try everything, unfortunately. So the first one I want to show you is the Lavande. It's the other way around. Here it is. And this is a really nice, brighter purple color story with 3 mattes and a shimmer. This is not a standalone palette for me. And because it's not a standalone palette, I don't feel this is going to make the selection. I kind of bought it to pair it together with the Violetta étendue, and it works really well that way. It works by itself as well, but I would have liked something a little bit deeper to make the look a little bit more well-rounded. Then we have the Violetta. That's the next one I have here, and this is a lot darker and grungier, and I had never seen Viseart do anything like this back when they first came out with this, and it has a really beautiful shifty shimmer. Do you see that one? It's so absolutely gorgeous. It's got a really nice darker gray that has almost like a green-blue undertone, the burgundy, and then this warmer rosy tone. It's smoky, it's dark, it's a really pretty palette, I have to say, but it is a little one note and you can't really do that much with it, I find. So that's why, again, that's not going to be the selection here. And then I have the 2 Lilas palettes. So I have Lilas and Deux. And I'm going to have to try my best to show you these because these Viseart palettes are always a bit floppy, so they're a little bit difficult to open if you have just one hand. This is the Lilas and this is the Deux. So this is a little bit more of a mauve and this is more of a taupe. In here though, we get one very random peach, which I've never understood. The shimmer is lovely. I love the rosy tone and the purple we get in here, but the Deux is just not my favorite because I just feel that this comes together for me a little bit better. Again, would I have liked a darker shade in here to make it more like one look? But this palette has one of my all-time favorite taupes in, so of course the original Lilas has to be the winner here. The next section of this eyeshadow palette battle has to be some of my Petit Pro palettes and one of the larger palette, but that has a smaller pan size that the Petit Pro has. So in case you don't know, the quads have slightly bigger sizes in the pans than these ones have. So my first ever Viseart palette actually that I tried is the Petit Pro 3. Well, I'm saying it's the first one. It's the first one I still have because I didn't like Viseart at first. I had only tried the Sultry Muse, the big one with the clear lid, and I just wasn't a fan until I tried the Petit Pro 3. The Petit Pro 3 is the reason why all of this actually happened. So in here, we get a full row of mattes and a full row of shimmers. This is a really stunning palette. It's really, really pretty. It has a really good green section in, which is why I was interested in it. I also quite like this plummy shade it has. And overall, I like the mix of both mattes and shimmers that you get in here. And that's, I think, the main selling point here. Then I also have the Midsummer. I'm not sure if they still do this. Do they still do this? Does anybody know? I don't think I've seen it anymore. But sometimes they bring them back and they come back in stock. Viseart is pretty good at keeping things in stock, I feel. So in here, we get mainly mattes. We get 2 shimmers, and especially this one. That's the special one. Do you see? It has that blue shift. And overall, this is a neutral palette, but everything has that rosy undertone. It also has a true pink in, but it's not a super strong pink. And I do really enjoy this, like color story wise. If you know anything about me and what I like, I think this is really pretty. But I don't like the fact that it only has 2 two shimmers. It's a little matte heavy, and that's why I like the Petit Pro 3 a little bit better. So that one is still the winner here. And then we have the Petit Cool Mattes. And if you know anything about me from watching my reviews, you'll know that this is my least favorite Viseart palette. I'm sorry, it just is. Because it's all matte. And the issue I had with this, as pretty as it is, we get purples, blues, grays, and browns, essentially, in this really nice, very satisfying looking gradient. But the blues and the purples pull gray on me. And so I don't get the versatility out of it that I'd like it to have. However, it does have some shades in that I can see me using with some of my other Viseart palettes. So it's not a standalone palette for me, and I definitely need to pull in other shimmers and stuff to really make it work. Is it pretty? Yes. Does it have the same amazing Viseart quality? Also yes. Which is why I don't find this a bad palette or anything like that. Just wasn't perfect for me, which is why in this round, the Petit Pro 3 is the winner. Next up is the category of the Étoile palette. So these are again still the Petit Pro style palette, but these were a separate collection. I'm not sure if they've come out with anything else in this selection. Viseart is a bit random, I feel, with their releases. They only really seem to do 1 or 2 main releases, and then they keep the palettes around for quite a long time. But the first one I got is the Paris Étoile. And this is their darker, smoky sort of color story. You get grays, you get purples, you get a teal, you get some neutrals and a taupe. And it's the taupe that makes the palette for me. If this had been a silver, I would have liked this a lot less. Because with palettes like this, you will very often find brands just put in a silver. But they have gone with a very pretty, cooler toned taupe that has a hint of silver to it, but it's not too silver heavy. It's very pretty, very stunning, but it's also quite deep. And for my complexion, it can just be a little bit too heavy, but it's a great smoky eye palette for sure. Next up in the next category I want to look at is the Étoile section. And this was a special collection they did. I'm not sure if they come out with any others in this collection. I feel that Viseart, with their releases, they don't do too many. And it seems for me, it just seems very random. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's any more of these. If they do more of these, then I would definitely check them out. The first one I got is the Paris Étoile. And these are so pretty because Viseart never really does anything with their packaging, I feel. But then this is on the back, the Parisian Skyline. So pretty. And this is their smoky eye palette. So this is quite deep, quite intense, but it's also very cool toned, which Viseart in cool tones, they don't do too many things, I find. They do some grays in here, some purples, a teal, some neutrals, and then the most gorgeous, very light taupey silver. It's not a true spot-on blue silver like we find in a lot of cool tone palettes, which is what I appreciate here, and the taupe makes the palette for me. But it's also very dark and smoky, and sure, I like a smoky eye on myself from time to time, but not for every day. So that's why, as much as I do appreciate this one, I'm gonna not make this one the winner of this round. Then we have San Francisco Étoile, and here we have the packaging. So stunning, really pretty. And this is the warm tone neutral palette with a pop of teal. And if you know anything about me, then you know that besides taupes, teals are my favorite shade ever. And teals combined with warm tones, there's just something about it. I have several palettes that do it. And it's just something that's been in my collection for years. I have also decluttered palettes that do it, because then I have bought something like this and I feel I don't need the other thing. But yeah, essentially warmer tone neutrals with a pop of teal. Again, a stunning taupe shades in here. And if I were to take the orange out, I feel this is a perfect palette. So the orange is what kind of throws me off, but this is a good contender to be the pick for this round, I feel. Then we have London Étoile, which is the purple packaging with the London skyline here on the packaging. And inside it, we get a warm purple color story with a pop of green and a gold. So some warmer tone neutrals again, warmer tone purples. The green makes the palette. In here, I don't love the yellow tone gold. So maybe at some point I should perhaps take this green and put it into San Francisco. Part of me wants to do that, but part of me also feels like that doesn't need to happen. So I feel like this one is a little less perfect for me than the San Francisco is, which is why the San Francisco is the one that goes on to the next round. And then Viseart also has a line with these larger palettes. And these are the first two I have, the Violette Étendue and the Cashmere. These are some of my all-time favorite palettes. The Violette Étendue is my favorite purple color story. The reason why I like it is because you get neutrals, but the neutrals have a purple undertone. Chef's kiss. You get some brighter pops that are more cool tone leaning purples, and also these shimmers are all a little bit more cool tone leaning. This is really pretty, but it's been discontinued. And I also feel, let me put it side by side as I just mentioned, I like the Lavande together with this because I feel that this is a little bit reddish toned. So then I like putting these more blue toned lavender shades in there, and I feel it goes together really well. So that's why I really enjoy the Violette Étendue. It's got some really pretty shades in. I still love it till this day, but because you can no longer buy it, the one that I tend to go for now in terms of recommendations is the Cashmere. And the Cashmere is one of my all-time favorite neutral palettes. If you've been here, you know this about me. I keep raving about this palette because it just has a little bit of everything. You get rosy tones, you get cool tones, you get warm tones, you get neutrals, and you get some lighter shades to blend things out and add a pop of shimmer somewhere, and every shade goes together. So no matter what combination I make, it will always work. And it's in the lovely formula by Viseart that I know I love. And it has everything I want from a neutral palette, which is why this one is the one that needs to win this round for sure. And then the final round in like the first section where we have all the palettes, I wanted to go about the newer palettes I tried for them. These came out at the end of 2023, and we have the Violette Vespertine and the Cashmere Charmeuse. That's what this one is called. And the Violette Vespertine is the one that I feel is like the amped up version if you were to combine the Charmeuse and the Violette original palettes together. It's like a little bit more, it's almost like if Violette Étendue had a grungy sister. You know what I mean? It's sort of like the same vibe, but more saturated, a little bit deeper. We get some more warmth in here with these like purpley things. So this is really pretty. Again, a stunning like taupey sort of leaning shade here and here, with like more of a silvery thing. And as warm toned as it may look, if you cover this shade up, I feel it's not as warm toned as you might expect. So I feel this is the only true warm tone that is inside this palette, as some really stunning shades. It does have 5 shimmers and 7 mattes, which, you know, I'm a shimmer lover, right? So there's that. And then the Cashmere Charmeuse has some more shimmers because we get 6 shimmers in here, but this is very one note. It's very mid-tone. Like whether I use this, or this, it doesn't really make much of a difference once I blend it onto my eyes. And there aren't that many light shimmers in here as well. We just get that bright pop of like a soft yellow gold, and everything else is just quite mid-tone, and it also pools very mid-toned on my complexion. We do get 2 special shades in here, so I'm not sure if you can see the shifts there. Like this has a bit of a like a reddish gold sort of green kind of thing, almost like a multi-chrome, but not quite. And this is a really stunning blue-green color for sure. It has some really lovely things in, but I think of these 2 newer palettes, the one I like the best is the Violette Vespertine, because it has a little bit more contrast. Which brings me to the next round, where I'm going to be comparing all of these little things. So 2 of the Petit Pro 3s and no, 2 of the Petit Pros and the Petit 4, of course. So let me open these up so we can look at them side by side, because with these small things, I just find that easy enough. Let me see, because I don't want to stick my nail in. Here we have those 3 palettes. You guys know a little bit about what I like, what my preferences are, and I think that of these 3, ooh, I can't really hold them like this. The Petit 4 definitely has to win just because it's cool toned. As much as I like both of these, like this is very warm compared to the Lilas, and this is a little bit warmer, but not too warm. I like the greens in there. But of these 3, the one that I would personally reach for the most would be the Lilas. So that's why this is the winner of this round. And then we're going to have to put up the Cashmere next to the Violette Vespertine. Again, I'm going to show you these side by side. And then you'll see what I mean when I said about the Violette Vespertine. It's like an amped up version of something. Ooh, I need to block the mirror. So here you have it. And I just feel like, do you just see that this has the same level of contrast that the Cashmere has? So that's why I like this one better of the 2 newer ones. But yeah, when push comes to shove, I would go for this over this. Like as stunning as this is, I think if you love purples, you're going to like this for sure. But I'm more of a neutral gal at heart. So something like this is just a little bit better for me. And again, you get that stunning taupe, and I would just miss that in my life if I didn't have that. Which leads me to the final selection, and it's the Lilas versus the Cashmere. What do you guys think? I'm thinking the Lilas is very pretty, but it is one note compared to the Cashmere. This is of course only 4 shades, and it doesn't really have any deepening up shades. So I'm thinking if I have to select just one Viseart palette, the one that I would very much regret if I ever lost it or it got whatever happened to it, it would be this one. It's one of my favorite palettes for a reason. I get the depth I need to deepen things up to use as liner. I get 2 really pretty shades for the crease that allow me to do almost anything. And what I also love about this one is that it just has more shimmers. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shimmers and a bit, because this is a little bit of a satin. So it only has 4 true mattes, and we all know I love a shimmer, which is why I love the Cashmere. So this is the winner for sure. So thank you so very much for joining me in this video today. Let me know in a comment down below what your favorite Viseart palette is. I would love to know. And next month I will be back with a new palette battle, because then we're going to be doing ColourPop. It was a request from one of you guys, and I'm still a bit on the fence. Should I do this for my ColourPop palettes the way they were when I bought them, or should I have them battle it out with the color stories the way they are now that I've reorganized most of them? Let me know in a comment down below, because I'm still a little bit on the fence about it. But yeah, the plan is to keep this video series going until the end of the year, and to show you any of the palettes families that I have from a single brand, provided that I have enough, because I think I need at least 8 palettes, because then I have 4 rounds, and then, you know, then it's an actual palette battle. So I do need to own enough palettes from a brand in order to do it. But yeah, thank you so very much for joining me here today. Thumbs up the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make several videos over on this channel, one on my second channel, and I do daily blog posts. So I hope yours I'm gonna find you somewhere on one of those spaces, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye!